Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point. And Vanessa Bryant and her mother are back in the news again. And so I'm wondering, how do you guys feel about this whole if your child makes it big, becomes a multimillionaire, or they marry somebody who's a multimillionaire, should you have a certain expectation that you'll never have to work again and that they are going to take care of you? And regardless of how you may feel about your mother or your father or both of your parents, if you have more money than you will ever spend in this lifetime, is it worth it to further damage the relationship by fighting over money? So those are the questions that I want you guys to answer down in the comments for me. And so if you guys remember back in September when Vanessa Bryant's mom made statements about the fact that since Kobe had died, Vanessa had cut her off. And so she responded. Her mother's name is Sofia Laine. And so she responded to the allegations that she had made on an interview that she did on Univision TV. And Vanessa back then told People magazine that my husband and daughter passed away unexpectedly, and yet my mom has the audacity to do an interview on TV talking negatively about me while shedding tears about a car and home that wasn't in her name. And so since the tragic death of her daughter and husband, Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant, Laine claimed that her daughter kicked her out of their family home and demanded she give up her car. Bryant countered that Laine has purposefully made it look like she is without support, even though Bryant says she and her late husband have continued to financially support her mother, in addition to her monthly alimony for 20 years, because the mom got divorced a while back, and she's getting alimony, and Kobe and Vanessa were taking care of her, paying all of her expenses. And so now the mother has filed a lawsuit for $5 million. And once again, Vanessa, is responding to her. And so this is an article from Complex website. And it says Vanessa Bryant's mother is allegedly demanding $5 million in financial support from the Bryant family in what Bryant says is a frivolous, disgraceful, and unimaginably hurtful lawsuit. Court documents for the California lawsuit show that Sofia Laine is seeking financial support from her daughter, alleging that she worked as an unpaid and longtime personal assistant and nanny for the family. The court docs continue. Unfortunately, Kobe Bryant's promises did not see the light of day as he is now deceased, and Vanessa Bryant took each and every step she could to avoid and cancel all of Kobe Bryant's promises made to Laine. Vanessa Bryant did not intend to honor any of the Bryant's representations, agreements, and promises at any stage. So Vanessa is saying that this is totally untrue and that she doesn't understand why her mother is continuing to try and find ways to extort a financial windfall from her family. And she says that I have supported her for nearly 20 years, and she was never my or Kobe's personal assistant, nor was she a nanny. I have always been a stay-at-home mom, and my husband and I were our daughter's full-time caregivers. Kobe and Vanessa had all girls, and currently Natalia is 17, Bianca is 4, and Capri is 18 months old. And then their daughter Gianna, unfortunately died in the same helicopter crash that Kobe passed away in with 7 other victims. Vanessa goes on to say, for nearly 2 decades, we arranged for my mother to live in our nearby properties at no cost to her because she had claimed that she didn't have any money to buy her own home after her divorce. So why didn't they buy her a home? Like, how much would it have been? How much would it have hurt them financially? Say, Mom, go find the house. We'll buy the house and then just pay for the house outright. And if you felt the need to do a contract saying that this is her house. You know, we're not paying the taxes. We're not paying for the upkeep. Or even if you were going to pay the taxes and the upkeep, put that in the contract as well. And so she continues and says, my husband and I felt it was best for her not to live in our home. She watched our girls from time to time, just like most grandparents do. She did not take care of business issues or expenses. She was a grandmother who was supported by me and her son-in-law at my request. She now wants to back charge me $96 per hour for supposedly working 12 hours a day for 18 years for watching her grandchildren. In reality, she only occasionally babysat my older girls when they were toddlers. As of 10 years ago, our kids were full-time students and athletes, and I didn't have another child until 2016. Her claims are obviously false, but I still tried repeatedly to work things out with my mother. And then she went on to say, contrary to what she's saying, I haven't left my children's side since the accident except to visit the cemetery and to make arrangements. And so she's referring to when Kobe and Gianna passed away. And then she also talks about the Univision interview back in September and referred to as beyond hurtful, and said even at that moment, she was still financially providing for her mother, even though she was, on television talking negatively about her. And then earlier this year, I was looking for a new home for her. And a week later, she went on television and gave an interview disparaging our family and making false accusations while living rent-free in a gated apartment complex in Newport Coast. Even after that betrayal, I was willing to provide my mother with monthly support for the rest of her life, and that wasn't good enough either. She instead contacted me through intermediaries. Contrary to what she claims, my phone number hasn't changed, and demanded $5 million, a house, and a Mercedes SUV. Because I did not give in to her hurtful threats and monetary requests, she has spiraled out of control and is making false and absurd claims. Now trying to get more money than my husband and I ever spent to provide for her while he was still alive. She has no regard for how this is affecting my children and me. She wants to live off my daughters and me for the rest of her life while continuing to collect monthly alimony from her ex-husband since 2004. My husband and I have never discouraged or kept her from providing for herself. My husband never promised my mother anything, and he would be so disappointed in her behavior and lack of empathy. So, that's what I'm thinking, y'all. Okay. The fact that she kept saying my husband and trying to throw Kobe in this mix, I'm kind of thinking that Miss Vanessa might be telling a few fibs here. I'm sure that Kobe probably promised to take care of, the mother, because he got enough money. It's like you made enough money. You can't take it with you. Girl, give your mama that money and let her go on by her business and say, this is the last penny that you will ever get from me. But I can also understand if the mother really is being spiteful and vindictive, and then, your pride get in the way and you don't want to give them what they're asking for. But I'm thinking that, there may come a time when she may need her mother despite, what they're going through right now. And then what is she going to do if they have destroyed this relationship? But more importantly, I'm now starting to wonder if the whole breakdown with Kobe and his parents, had something to do with Vanessa. Is it really true? Because people have said that in the past. So is it really true that Vanessa is really this hard and difficult person to deal with and to get along with? And she's kind of like, giving the haters, some ammunition to fire back at her. But at the end of the day, regardless of what is going on, that is still her mother. And there's obviously some tension between the two that's behind the scenes that no one really knows about. And I would just out of the sake of peace, considering, how her and Kobe ended up getting married when she was such a young age. I'm sure the mother was behind that whole situation, orchestrating, to make sure that her daughter would be set for life. And it seems like mother, like daughter. And now Vanessa is turning into the person that the mother was when she was 17 years old trying to hook Kobe. This is my thought on money. If I loan you money and you don't pay the money back, if you take money from me and I choose not to call the police and press charges against you for taking my money, or if I decide out of the goodness of my heart to do something kind for you and in return you give me your behind to kiss, I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. I'm not going to stress out about it. I am going to consider that the cost of getting you out of my life. And that is how Vanessa Bryant really needs to look at the situation. Give your mother them $5 million. Make her sign an agreement that she will never, ever, ever ask you for another dime. And if you choose to give her something in addition to the $5 million, you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart, not out of any form of obligation, and just call it a day, because life is just too short. If 2020 hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us that life is too short to be engaging in drama based on principle and principle alone. And I cannot say this enough. You have more money, girl, than you will ever spend in a lifetime. Give your mother those $5 million and I guarantee you God will help you recoup those $5 million plus more. Be kind to your mother because she's the only one that you have. You could leave this earth right now, and who is going to take care of your children? Like, who would be responsible? Are you going to send them girls over there to Sierra or Lala to take care of? Like, have you made provisions that in case something happens to you, who's going to be responsible for your kids? Like, it seems to me that that's the kind of stuff you need to be focusing on, and not whether, you should give your mother any money, pay her rent. I mean, she paid your rent for 17 years growing up. It's the least thing you can do, okay? And I think she just wants a return on her investment in getting you into this situation that you're in, where you'll never have to work another day in your life. So $5 million, I think, is a reasonable tip. So guys, that's it for me. That's my point of view on the situation. Leave your comments below and let me know what you think. Rate the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.